face on my terms. Here we
Okay.
go.
Okay, we all good. We are live. Okay, Hotep family, happy family. Thank you for coming out on this Saturday. Please excuse me because I didn't get to the barbershop and I wasn't able to get my hair cut and shave and the whole thing. So I just want to say, excuse me. But what we're going to do is tonight we're going to talk about money. We have a powerful, powerful presenter right now, right here, and we're going to share some information and knowledge, and we're going to open up the floor because we want him to expose you to economics in a way that has never been shown before. So what we're going to do is we're going to introduce the brother. The brother's name is Philippe, and I want him to share with you who he is, and then we're going to go into detail on his work and how powerful it is for the African community to this day. So Brother Philip, tell us who you are. Give us your introduction.
Oh, my introduction. I got to do it? Oh,
yes, you got to do it. Because what happens is we leave things out.
Oh, man.
So what do you want us to know about you?
I feel like, what's that dude, Steve Martin, I was born a poor white child,
Right,
so I'll start there, or do I need to go that far back,
Yeah.
So,
Come on, tell us who you are.
Where do you want me to start? Okay.
We're going to have fun.
I am Reverend Philippe Matthews. I'm the host of the Philippe Matthews Show. I've authored 17 books. My latest book is, well, that's not my latest book, but Digitalnomics, which is what we're going to be talking about today with Brother Charles. I have a ministry, First Frequency of Oneness. I run a virtual Kemetic wisdom school with all of the best minds in the world, from James Smalls to Professor Kaba, Opa Deshaka, Leonard Jeffries, and that's just been an absolute blast. I am known by the community as a metaphysical Morpheus because I unlock people from the Matrix and show them how to be their own Neo. I think that's enough. Otherwise, it's going to start. I'm going to start really feeling myself, Charles. That's all.
Okay, good. Okay, I'm gonna ask you a question. In the process of doing research, there was something that I noticed that I picked up on. There was something that you promised your mother.
Oh boy.
A long time ago. Can you just touch on that real quick before we go deep into?
I cry a lot. Don't get me emotional.
No, don't cry. I just want people to share that with. I want them to see the humanity.
That's that ambush stuff. Come on, man. You're doing this in front of family. Come on, brother.
Because I want the youngsters on the broadcast to hear what you have to say.
So before in process of answering that, let me give you just a bit of backstory that got me to those promises that I made my mother. So my mom was given 4 months to live, and she started. I'm from Chicago, and she started taking me and my sister to a church called Christ Universal Temple, headed by the Reverend Dr. Johnny Coleman, most famous metaphysical minister in the world, still. And this is when they were on 86 in Lafayette. Shout out to Chi-Town if you know that area. And that's where I met Reverend Ike and so many people and money making money. Right. And so my mom really, I mean, it was a deep dive. And so it was Sunday school, Wednesday night service, everything. And I was just soaking up these universal principles. But more importantly, I saw all of these beautiful, wealthy Black people. And it had a different smell than living in the ghetto. It had a different smell. And it was like, wow, this is great. But I'm 10 years old. And so as a result, my mom ended up living 4 years. So she died when I was 14 in my arms. And I made 3 promises to her, because we came from abject poverty. My mother was illiterate. My father was illiterate. He was a plumber. And I had to drop out of the 6th grade to take care of her. And so I made those 3 promises. 1, I will never get involved in drugs of any kind. I will not get involved in gang activity, number 3. And I will do something to make you proud. And that's when the struggle began, because I came up at a time when there were no choices other than to sell drugs or get in or anesthetize yourself with a drug. And so it was a very difficult journey. But I had these foundational principles that along the way, I was forced to be reintroduced to them. And, when she died, my father, they were divorced when I was 6. Father came back into my life, and he died 2 months later, literally dropped dead in front of me.
Wow.
Now I'm parentless. I'm 14. It's my sister and I. And we're on welfare. We're living in a one-room shack on 45th and Lake Park in Chicago, which now is nothing but $1 million condos. It wasn't that before. And I got a job. I was 15. I got a job working for Kentucky Fried Chicken as a cook. So that's my beginnings.
Right. Okay, good. I just wanted people to know who you are and the humanity part, and knowing that this is a brother just like you and I, and knowing that to go from where you went to where you are now, it's possible. It's possible.
Facts.
So what I'm going to do, okay, I'm going to get into some questions now.
Uh-oh.
Okay, got it. So now that we got the human part and the fun part out. So I have a list of questions here. I'm going to try to stick to them. But first question, number one, because of what's happening now, with the situation that's going on now with the COVID virus, okay? How has the COVID virus and the pandemic influenced the future of making money?
For me, this is probably, and I know some people are going to probably think I'm still drinking because I stopped drinking a while ago, but I'm serious right now when I'm going to say this. This is probably the best thing that could have happened to us.
Wow.
And the reason is, and the reasons are multiplicable. It's not just one reason, it's multiple reasons. The first reason is that we are stuck in the house and we have to do something. And hopefully what we are doing is learning how not to do what we were doing prior to, and that is being busy and doing nothing. Hopefully, second, it's about reading and saying, how do I reinvent myself?
Wow.
In order to acquire something that you've never had, you must become someone you've never been. Well, now you have the time to do it. You were struggling prior to COVID-19. And so you're probably struggling a hell of a lot more right now with a level of uncertainty that you didn't even have before. So now is the time for you to take this time to do this kind of stuff. Watch these great experts, read these books. Who do you wish to become? What is your reinvention? What does it look like? Now, the third thing is, and I get very, I guess the term would be political, I don't know. But in terms of my work, one of my great teachers, we just had him on my show, Dr. William A. Smith, who did the research and coined the phrase racial battle fatigue with him and Dr. Tommy J. Curry. The third thing, that's the best thing that ever happened to us, is that we are forced now not to be around white people.
Got it.
And so there's a racial battle fatigue that happens when we are in proximity to a constant proximity to what I call in my metaphysical framework, second frequency people. We're first frequency. We are gods and goddesses, created by the creator first, chosen first idea, first gestation, first concept of the creator. When the creator says, I want to feel and see myself and experience myself in physical carbon form, the blackest of the black, the most beautiful was created, and that was us, the Africans. So we're first frequency. There's an original signal that we have. With this second frequency coming out of the cave, their job, their goal was to make us forget we are first frequency people. And that caused us, particularly on this soil, to become what we call third and fourth, the Negro and the nigger. And when I was coming up, because I didn't have access to academia, I didn't have access to economics, so I couldn't be a good Negro and go to school and go to church and do all of the things that good assimilated, using the word of Dr. Obadashaka, good assimilated Negroes do.
Right.
I was that nothing ass nigga on the street.
Right.
And so, I had to survive by any means necessary. And so this is something that when I talk about it, it resonates with people, because I tell my family all the time, and when I say my family, I'm talking about the community at large, that nothing is wrong with us. Something happened to us. So this trauma that we call in the ancestral realm Ma'afa, well, we're still in it. And how is that? I lost the host, but the guest is still here. So I'm here. I'm still here with you, family. So we are in this racial battle fatigue. I call it the hidden signal. This second frequency signal that is killing us by proximity, and it is also killing us literally when we're dealing with what we're dealing with right now with Ahmaud Arbery. What we're dealing with right now with brother George Floyd.
Right.
This second frequency is designed to destroy us, to kill us, to stop us reaching our potential. But the process is it has embedded deep-seated, decontextualized trauma that causes us not to be able to think and sequence our way out of the situation that we're in, particularly financially. You and I were talking on the phone, talking about financial literacy and having to do the work. I'm in 100% agreement with you. But what happens is that trauma cuts us off from being able to think straight. And it causes us to have a level of shame, a toxic shame, where we don't want to get it wrong, but we do because we can't think straight, we can't sequence. There's a part of the brain that breaks down when it is under a high level of stress, but particularly in our case, a continuous level of stress. It's called the VMPFC, ventral medial prefrontal cortex. It gives us our locus of control. We feel like we can control something, we can handle it. We've got a strong VMPFC. We've got a strong ability to be able to solve our problems, handle our problems, and meet our needs. When you are bombarded from childhood, cradle to the grave, with these second frequency issues, and now you're navigating between the false racial constructs of a Negro or a nigger, because that ain't who we are.
Right, right.
But we have to operate within those false racial constructs, which makes us bipolar at best, and wonder why we're having mental illness issues. When that part of the brain breaks down, it makes sense that I will go and have another baby so I can get more welfare money.
Right, right,
right. So it makes sense that if I'm going to get with Brother Charles and Brother Charles is going to teach me financial literacy, I'm going to maybe hear it, but I'm not going to really absorb it, and I'm not going to apply it because there's something inside of me that is stopping me from getting past the go. Right. So I'm going to procrastinate. And by the way, I think it's meritorious that I need to address the family and tell them what are these four traumas. There's four traumas that are embedded in every Black body, African and African American in the diaspora. The first one is genetic. Now, you have heard from Dr. Joy DeGruy, post-traumatic slave syndrome. Dr. Obadashaka talks about post-1968 hostile forces. There are three memories that we need to look at: ancestral memory, genetic memory, and incarnate memory. Our ancestral memory is where that trauma was stored from the Ma'afa. Understanding the Akashic records, the law of conservation, that trauma is conserved. It doesn't go anywhere. It's recorded. And so it is passed on ancestrally. Then whenever we come into our particular existence, we move into genetic trauma or genetic memory, which is epigenetics, right? Now, the interesting thing is Dr. DeGruy was doing this work before the scientists had the name epigenetics. So she was way ahead of her time in her research. So genetic memory goes back 14 generations, which is about 350 years. So that puts us smack dab in slavery, Jim Crow. So now we have the ancestral trauma of the Ma'afa. We have the trauma of chattel slavery, Jim Crow, so on and so forth. And of course, in the HAPI film, Dr. Jacqueline Battlelora is in that film, and she teaches us about anti-miscegenation laws and what happened between 1664 and 1681. So now that's part of that genetic memory. You see that it's embedding that genetic trauma. And then the third type of memory is the incarnate memory that happens at the moment that we're born. So we come here with our genes of trauma, what's called DNA tags. But then once we're born into this racial battle fatigue signal, and we're forced to choose between being a good Negro and or a nigger out here in these streets. If I might be blunt.
Got it, right.
So that trauma comes up and it manifests as the second level of trauma from genetic trauma is decontextualized trauma. Decontextualized trauma is, or hazy trauma as it's called, is trauma that you don't have a time date or time stamp on it. It's in you, but you can't trace back to when it was installed. Right. Now, if depending upon where you come from, if you're a Black boy or a Black girl, you might have multiple situations that traumatized you, that was imprinted in you, not including the genetic trauma you came here with. And so now, when trauma is decontextualized, it just looks like personality. Wow. That's just the way Chuck has always been. That's just the way Philippe is when he gets upset. That's just the way Mama so-and-so is when you say that word. It's personality. It's not the person, it's the personality, and trauma has hijacked and mimics the personality. When Chuck and Philippe go outside and mix and mingle with the world, that personality becomes culture. Okay. Wow. So we got genetic trauma, decontextualized or hazy trauma. The third trauma is then the vicarious trauma. Vicarious trauma is I wake up Memorial Day, I turn on my computer, I go and check my Facebook, and I see Brother George Floyd. Right. I'm not there. I'm in Sacramento, California. I have never been to Minneapolis, but what I see traumatizes me to the point where there's a racial battle fatigue that comes down on me that I'm not able to function that day. Right. I have to now lay in bed somewhere or sit down somewhere because I'm not believing what I'm seeing. I'm not there, but vicariously I am traumatized. That vicarious trauma, and that's just one incident. We're still coming off of Ahmaud Arbery, but we still have to go back. We got to go back to Sandra Bland. We got to go back to Eric Gardner. We got to go back to Trayvon Martin. All of that's vicarious trauma that builds up, stored, is conserved, because energy can't be destroyed. It can only be changed, transformed, or transmuted. And so now all of the genetic trauma that I already have inside of me is now going into a decontextualized area when I'm now vicariously traumatized by just sitting up in my own home and watching my family being murdered and killed and lynched. That creates the fourth trauma. The fourth trauma is the ghosting trauma. It's the trauma where we feel like something bad is always going to happen to us. Wow. Something is not right. And when we start to feel something is going to happen to us, something bad is going to happen to it, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, and so thereby it does. And so we start to not feel deserving of the very things that we ask and are trying to desire and manifest in our lives. And so we start to self-sabotage the good relationships, the good job, the good money. We don't spend our money correctly. We won't invest it. Why? Because ghosting trauma causes me to live in the here and right now. I got to survive. So I'm just living for the weekend. I'm going to turn it up. I'm not going to invest in the damn thing, because guess what? With all of my trauma, I don't know if I'm going to be here tomorrow. And so as a result, I'm going to do everything here and now. I went on a tangent, but I wanted to kind of set that foundation for you, brother, so you understand that ain't nothing wrong with us. Got it. Something happened to us, and it's still happening. And that thing is trauma.
Okay. Quick question, and just a little off. Du Bois' dual consciousness. Do you think that was a coping factor?
Yes.
Of dealing with this integration, knowing that you have to have this to survive?
Facts.
Got it. Okay. Just want to make sure.
Yeah. Because frequency, when I think of, when you say the Negro and the nigga, it's like, no. See, this is, it created, first of all, let's go back to Battleore's work. White people were invented. Right. White people are American made. Now, we know the European were messed up psychologically, sociopathically, and prior to them landing on this soil, coming from the Dark Ages. So we know they perfected trauma in the Dark Ages. They just brought that trauma and all of that learned trauma here. Before we could even talk about Battleore's work, we got to talk about what makes a human being, a group of human beings, say it's okay to come to another land, genocide, and take the land. We don't even have that conversation.
Right.
So let's just talk about, okay, the 1664 to 1681, the invention of white people. 3 laws came down in anti-miscegenation that got you and I on this conversation today. The first one is a person of African descent could not vote or run for office. The second is a person of African descent could not own guns or gunpowder. So I couldn't protect my family. I couldn't eat. The third, most insidious law, a person of African descent could not take any type of legal action against this new false designation of humanity called white people.
Got it.
So now the casual killing that, and this is hundreds of years before the forefathers were born, before the first meeting of Congress, before the U.S. Constitution. So Jeffersons and all that, they're born into racial hate and animus. They're born into false sense of white privilege. When we look at white privilege, Dr. Peggy McIntosh, who talked about that back in '93, I believe, when white privilege is challenged, it creates white fragility. White fragility, when challenged, creates what Dr. Carol Anderson refers to as white rage. When they see Black people aspiring in spite of what it is that we have been subjected to, it creates a white rage in them that causes them to do a Tulsa, Oklahoma, put a knee on our neck, shoot us and get away with it. And then when you look at those laws again, in terms of an ancestral or historical position, we're still there in many ways. The cops shoot us, they don't go. They don't get prison. They don't get the death penalty. They can just murder at will, just like the anti-miscegenation laws when they were put in place, hundreds of years ago. So here we are dealing with this dual consciousness. So how do I mitigate? How do I circumvent? I can't. Derek Bell teaches us, and Dr. Tommy J. Curry taught me about Derek Bell. We can't fight racism. We have to circumvent it. As long as white people exist, racism will exist. So as a result of that, now I have to figure out, how do I maneuver? I can't go through it. I got to go around it, under it, and I got to deal with it. Some of us say, you ever heard the term, if you can't beat them, what?
Join them.
You join them. So maybe if I can mimic and act and conform and constrict and assimilate and act like I am cool and accept, maybe they'll accept me.
Right.
Because I won't be racially profiled like a nigga.
Got it.
I won't be that fourth frequency. I don't want to be that that nothing ass nigga on the street. I'm gonna be a good Negro. I'm gonna go along and get along. And this is where you get your situations with your Gayle Kings and your Oprahs. When that kind of money comes into us, when that kind of academia comes into us, it's white male patriarchy that is shaping that narrative and shaping that wealth and shaping that academia. And so we end up harming ourselves. Now, this is peer reviewed. This is not my opinion. It is my life, but it's not my opinion. Dr. William A. Smith has taught us the higher up in education a Black man goes, the higher his morbidity rate. He dies sooner. He has more issues with his health. Why? Because he's closer to white male patriarchy. He's closer to whiteness and proximity. And the more money you make, as Biggie Smalls would say, more money, more problems.
Okay. All right, great.
Because we're in a false racial construct. We're in a false racial construct. So of course we're going to act like Gayle and Oprah. Of course we're going to act like we're not in our right frame of mind.
Got it. Excellent. Powerful piece. I need everyone to make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, subscribe to our Instagram, make sure that you hit the like button and the share button in Facebook. Make sure you're connected so that every time we have an event, you know firsthand what's going on. Brother Philip, let me tell you something. Your book, tell us about your book. There was one thing that fascinated me about your book was you broke it down into 3 sections. Mm-hmm. The first one is mine. Mm-hmm. Second one is help me out.
I don't remember.
Oh, you don't remember? Okay, it was mine.
It has to be money.
Mind, money, method.
And method, yeah.
Mind, money, method. Break us down. Tell us about your book and why this book is very important and key right now to us in this COVID situation right now?
So Digitalnomics, I wrote this book because for the last 15, 20 years of being toxically exposed to second frequency AMU, I learned, I paid a huge price, but I learned how to create income without having to leave the house. I mastered the internet.
Wow.
And I mastered learning how to not only create intellectual property like books and audios and various different pieces of information, but I also learned, probably in my opinion, the most powerful economic modality ever invented, and that's called affiliate marketing. Because affiliate marketing was developed created by Jeff Bezos in 1996. He came out with Amazon in 95, 96. He launched affiliate marketing where you could go and recommend a book. You would get a particular piece of code. Somebody would go and you would promote that. Somebody clicks on that link. It was resident for 30 days when somebody purchased that book, or if they purchase anything in that shopping cart, Amazon sends you a check, and it's usually between 4% to 18%. I think it's 4% for books and stuff like that, maybe 18% for electronics. So the affiliate marketing game was invented, and it made millionaires. It made 6- and 7-figure players. And so I wanted to master that. I wanted to figure that out. I had wrote my first book in 2001, How to Make Millions When Thousands Have Been Laid Off. And I learned from interviewing all of these great, brilliant, at that time, second frequency people. So Bob Proctor was in the book. Robert Allen is in the book. Les Brown is in the book. Brian Tracy is in the book. All these guys. All right. So, so I learned this process. But in that, I'm going through all of this racial battle fatigue, all of this trauma. Why am I sabotaging myself? Why am I choosing relationships that are harming me? What is this thing? I might be good over here, but I'll do something over in another area of my life that F's up the part that I'm trying to get right. And so, I always say you don't, you run into what you are running away from. So when I was in my situation, I was running away after my parents died. My sister became my legal guardian. She was exceptionally abusive emotionally. Why? My father, when she was 19, hit her in the head with a hammer, split her head open, and she never liked men at all. Of course, now when he's dead and I'm in her life as a baby brother, 16-year difference, she sees me and sees my father. So now I am the recipient of all of that hate and anguish and pain and trauma, not knowing that language then. It just hurt. And being told that you ain't shit, you just like your father, you'll never be you're a dumb, ass, ignorant, illiterate mother, you know what. So hearing this every day for literally hours, I would turn my music up so I could just drown her out. So for years, I am trying to get out of this trauma with my guardian, with my sister, with my family member, and run smack dab into the worst relationship ever that I tried to make work. It did not work. It made it worse because I did not take care of and didn't know that I had the trauma of all of this other stuff. And so what you run from, you run into. So as I'm going and starting to interview and find ways to align and lead with these great minds like the Kiyosakis and the Susie Ormans and all of that, I'm learning this stuff, but it ain't working for me. Okay, I'm like, this makes sense. Why when I apply it, something else comes along to either distract me or I end up screwing it up somehow. When I got to the place to recognize what was happening to me and Digitalnomics and the power of affiliate marketing, the concept of walkaway wealth systems, to be able to create an automated wealth building platform of intellectual property, whether it is my own or someone else's. What I had to do to become that was I had to first address my trauma, because what I have learned from working with so many clients is I can teach them the tactical, practical aspect of Digitalnomics, but their trauma is speaking louder than their logic. It ain't gonna work for them.
Wow.
And so this is why I decided to get into go back into metaphysics, but actually get a doctorate in it and go into it and connect it back to first frequency Dogonic understanding, because metaphysics is a 1490 etymology word. It doesn't exist in Kemet. It doesn't exist.
Right.
So I want the family to understand that I'm coming from this. I'm not a Beckwith. I'm not a Jarl Van Zandt. I'm something completely different in the metaphysical space. But I'm understanding these principles, and I learned how to collapse time. In metaphysics, we call it cause and effect. The cause is the intention, the idea. The effect is the manifestation and the demonstration. Well, for us, we have been taught they stole our time when they stole us. We now have allowed ourselves to be put in a situation where we basically now have been just told, you know what, you ain't getting nothing. You get it when you die.
Right.
You don't get anything while you're here on earth. You get it when you die. We go to school. We take a time to go and get school. So that takes time. Then we get a job, a job, just over broke. And then we don't get paid immediately for the work we do. We get paid every 2 weeks, depending upon your pay scale, 2 weeks and once a month in some cases. Then when we get the job, we then have to go back and pay back for the education of the time that we took to get the education. And then we got to have family. We got to have, some type of social life. We got to have some type of lifestyle. And we're already feeling like we want more, need more, deserve more. And so now we're starting to debt. We're starting to overspend, overextend ourselves. And then we go into this perpetual loop of trying to matter, trying to fit in, go along to get along. Maybe if I work a little harder, maybe if I take a second job, maybe if I do this, and we run out of time. I will be 55 this year. I'm exhausted. Okay. Racial battle fatigue has whooped my ass. I almost dropped dead on my 53rd birthday, had to go to the hospital, went there. They said, Reverend Matthews, you have blood clots in both lungs and both legs. If you hadn't have come in tonight, you wouldn't be here.
Wow.
That was a buildup of toxicity of trauma over time. I had to learn how to master my time. I had to learn how to collapse my time to create income instantaneously and get out of the mindset that I had been trained to go get a job, to go and spend time and build it up over time. Now, when I was in my 20s, that might have worked. But at 50, when you're in your 50s, you got more days, less days in front than you have behind.
Right.
I ain't got 20 years to get a portfolio and let it grow. I don't have the ability to do it. So how can I create income morally and ethically, going back to those 3 promises? I don't want to sell drugs. I don't want to do drugs. I don't want to get involved in gang activity. I respect and love my family that are in gang, that's gang related, gang affiliated, because I know ain't nothing wrong with you. Something happened to you. All of that is a trauma response. And it's all happening to us at various different levels.
Okay.
So affiliate marketing,
got it.
When I started working with Professor Kaba Hiawatha Kamene, I came to him and I said, brother, I want to use you as an experiment. I want to teach you how to collapse your time. You've been working as a school teacher. I think he was just in the process of retiring when I got to work with him for 30 some odd years. I want to help you buy back your time. I want to help you take your intellectual property, what you think, what you say, and what you do.
Right.
I want you to be able to sell it instantaneously to the world, not just to the few people that you might know on Facebook, but to the world. And I want you to get used to having streams of income coming in every hour on the hour, all throughout the day, every day. We are not trained to think that way. We think that's a scam. In fact, the most that we can get to, or the closest that we can get to in that line of thinking, is network marketing. Network marketing is not the way, because guess what? You're still buying your time. You got to go back and go out and find a downline and go to your friends and family. One of my clients said, Philippe, I was part of the NFL. I said, really? What does that mean? She says, it was part of the no friends and no family list. They don't call me no more when they see me coming. They treat me like a Jehovah's Witness because I done went to them with every damn network marketing process ever. Nobody's listening. I said, okay, sister, let me explain to you how affiliate marketing works and the power of this. All you have to do is share a link on Facebook or Twitter or whatever your social media proclivity is. And when they click on that link and make a purchase, you get an automatic check. Now, I decided because of Amazon and what have you, they make it a little difficult now for you to become an affiliate, even though it's free. I decided not to pay people what Amazon pays, which is 4%. I do 50-50 deals. If you promote any of my digital assets, you get 50%, period. End of story. Right? So that way it's clean because I'm under the law of Ma'at, the law of reciprocity. And
right.
I understand that if you win, I win. What was that commercial back in the day? I'm not just a hair club member. I'm not the president. I'm also a client. Right. So affiliate marketing is our way out. And we have now in this COVID-19 situation, the ability to learn something that will change our lives for the rest of our lives. But more importantly, Brother Chuck, it will allow us to collapse time.
Right.
Because they don't have time to go to school and learn something new. They don't have time to put something in and wait 20 years from now, 15 or even 10 years from now for it to accrue. We don't know if we're going to be here tomorrow when we start looking at the brother, George Floyd and what have. We don't know. We need a now. We need a now and we need a how. And that, we got the hope, but we need more than that. We need a now and a how.
And it's deep what you're talking about because to put it in simple terms, the affiliate marketing piece, for those who don't truly understand that, take a look at Walmart. Walmart is simply one large building with a whole bunch of products in it that other companies are just renting space on the shelf. You're going in and you're purchasing, and Walmart is getting a piece of that. And also whoever put the product there is getting a piece of that. That's what affiliate marketing simply is. It's just that right now you have the capability and the access online to do it without having any product.
Absolutely, because here's the thing. You are sharing stuff on Facebook 24/7. You're on Facebook and your social media now more than ever.
Right.
I think there's some crazy number where we spend at least 3 hours a day on social media. We sharing cats and dogs and toothpicks and all kinds of stuff. And I'm saying, well, if you're gonna share it any damn way, why don't you make some money doing it?
Got it.
All right. So can you do this with your cell phone? Can you do this with your laptop or tablet? Yes. That's why the subtitle of the book is Making Money with Your Cell Phone. It's how if you go to prison and you come out, and how are you going to make money? How you can't get a job, you can't get housing, you're discriminated against. What are you going to do? Affiliate marketing is the way to do it. You find people, you find a product or service that of people who have an affiliate product, and I have that, so I'm offering that to the family. You can go to walkawaywealthsystems.com, download all the information, or you can go to Digitalnomics Bootcamp and fill out that form, and I'll work with you and teach you this process of how to get to the now and the how of affiliate marketing. There's a learning curve. There's two learning curves to affiliate marketing. The first learning curve is how adept are you at working a computer or your phone? Are you, do you have this fear of technology? Right. That's the first. The second is, and we have to do an assessment, how deep is your trauma?
Got it.
If your trauma is going to cause you to make you think that you can't make this happen, you can't do this, the ghosting trauma is telling you you're not good enough, not deserving of it, and so you're going to self-sabotage it. That is the two things. Those are the two things that we have to deal with, which is why I decided to go back into ministry to understand and pull that process out, because that's the missing link in a lot of the stuff a lot of this stuff works, man. You know that.
I know that.
You got out of your own way, started dealing with your own trauma, and then all of a sudden the stuff that you learned started to work.
So now I have a quick question. Do you think that poverty is man-made?
No, I don't think it's man-made. I know it is.
Okay, I just want to put it out there.
Poverty is not a nat. So everything that I do goes back to first frequency. It goes back to the consciousness before the conflict. The conflict happened when they came out of the mountains, and then we were in the consciousness after the conflict. The consciousness before the conflict shows me and tells us there was no such thing as poverty.
Right.
We were able to manifest instantaneously whatever it is that we wanted. We were in a state of causation. You must be in a state of causation, and we must have manifested and perfected manifestation, because we built structures that still can't be duplicated and replicated today.
Correct.
So where does poverty come from? Poverty comes from it is man-made, and I would say that not only is it man-made, it is white man-made. We are not designed to go out, work for something for a minimal amount of money, wait 2 weeks to get it, try to pay our bills, and try to have some semblance of family in doing so, get to Saturday just to relax and have to turn it up and let it go to release some of that trauma. Then if you, depending upon your level of faith system, will have you go to church on Sunday to try to relieve that trauma, dance around, shout hallelujah, and look at this white boy on a stick. I might be offending some people. I am so sorry, but you've got to come out of that. And then now here we are Sunday. I got to go back and do this all over again. That's not right. That's not who we are. No, that's not what we're supposed to be doing. Right, but what we should be doing is, as I'm speaking to you right now, and I know you, as you are speaking to me right now, we're earning income right now.
Right.
We're making money while we're talking.
Correct.
True story, 2 stories, if I have time to tell it. The first story comes from, and I put this in my second book, Shockwell System. This was when I was hanging out, I was assimilated. This is when I was hanging out with Robert G. Allen, who wrote the book, co-wrote 1 Minute Millionaire and No Money Down. He was driving his Rolls Royce in San Diego, and 60 miles an hour, smack dab into a tree. I think I told you this story on the phone. I'm not sure. I talked to somebody today. I was telling somebody this story. And he was in a coma for 4 days. He woke up, and he's telling me this story as I'm interviewing him, that he woke up and there were 4 doctors working on him. And the first thought that came to his mind is, I'm earning more money coming out of a coma than these 4 doctors are right now working on me simultaneously.
Right.
Man, that messed me up, dude. I'm not going to lie. That was a game changer for me. Fast forward, I started working with Professor Kaba, teaching him this process of how to collapse time using doing affiliate marketing in Digitalnomics. He went to the dentist Saturday. Sunday, he wasn't feeling good from what maybe the anesthesia, Novocaine, or whatever. He's laying up in bed, and all of a sudden, his son Haru burst into the bedroom and said, "Dad, we just made $200 from one sale."
Right. Mm-hmm.
Kaba calls me up and says, "Brother, you remember you told me the story about Robert Allen waking up and making more money than the 4 doctors? Well, I didn't make as much money as those 4 doctors, but I realized I made money while I was in my bed sleep."
Right.
That's who and what we are supposed to be doing. And that's how we're going to get to this next level. We must master our economics. We must learn how to engage in disruptive economics.
Right.
Because we're in a disruptive pattern and state. You can't work a traditional job out of the situation you're in. It's impossible.
One thing I like about the internet, and one thing I love about the internet, one of the things that I teach is, because of the process of Wi-Fi and affiliate marketing, it doesn't care who you look like or what you look like. It doesn't matter. As long as you have a product that is out there that people are going to purchase. Right. What we try to do is we try to take the excuses out of reasons for not creating wealth.
Right.
And when we do this, people, as you said, the trauma, so I'm understanding it now, it's the trauma part that they have to deal with, knowing that you have the keys, the access, the logic to do it. But the question is, what is it that's stopping you from actually producing and doing the work you're supposed to? Because it's not going to hit you. It's not going to wake you up. It's not going to make you, it's not coming to you freely. There is some work involved in this whole process. You have your own affiliate marketing company.
I have my own affiliate marketing products. I don't own the company. Gumroad is the company, but I guess so. And
what type of products? I'm sorry, what type of products?
I sell digital products. All of my books,
Got it.
Comedic Wisdom School we have, you know, hundreds of students that pay, you know, $14 a month to do. We have a affiliate marketing program for that. So all of my digital assets, all of my books, my 4 metaphysical frequencies framework, in fact, my Spiritualnomics, Ujanomics book is a book about affiliate marketing. We sell that and teach people how to make 50% from recommending that book and sharing that book. And so it's one of those things, man, where first of all, strangers, Les Brown taught me this years ago. He says, strangers will make you rich. It ain't the people you know, fam. It ain't, you know, if you have a supportive family, that's great, but they can only buy whatever you're selling one time. So as a result, you have to figure out that your Facebook right now might not be enough people. You want to become an influencer and you want to build a following of people who rock with you so that you have a constant pool of people to share this quality information with. That is how you develop walk away wealth, because somewhere someone is clicking on the links that you're sharing, and as a result they're purchasing, and now you're automatically receiving an email saying you made 50% of whatever the product or digital asset is.
Right. Now, what you're talking about is passive income.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's and passive income is taxed at a lower rate than earned income. Okay, got it. I just want you to.
Bob Proctor taught me, he also said, he says, you need as many of those passive income streams as you possibly can.
Got it.
So not just one, because again, that trauma makes us think, well, maybe I should just sell one item or one thing. No, multiple streams of income coming in. And there's a learning curve, you know, there's a learning curve for some of us and a financial curve for some of us who can't invest in real estate, can't invest in stock. So what can you do immediately that can make you enough money to move into that space?
Got it. Right. It's the buildup.
It's the buildup.
It's the buildup. One of the things that I
on HAPI Talks, everybody who does all this stuff, every one of them is right. They're the best of the best in the world, but everybody can't rock with it because it's like, what's the barrier to entry?
Got it.
So there's the barrier of the finances. I might not have enough money to invest in this, but then there's the barrier of the trauma that, can I really learn this, unlock this, and what do I do? What is the easiest, most efficacious route that I can take to start building that up? And that's not easy either. Affiliate marketing is not easy. There's no such thing. It's work. But if you can understand these 4 traumas and understand, ain't nothing wrong with you. You're not dumb. You're not stupid. You're not uneducated. Something happened to you that is truncating and stopping that first frequency signal from manifesting as its natural self.
Powerful. We talk about affiliate marketing, and what people have to understand is that, take a look at your higher education colleges, whatever. You have professors who are holding classes, but they're purchasing books, and every semester you have to purchase that professor's book. And people don't understand that is affiliate marketing.
Facts.
Very simple. Yeah. Facts. So now I have to take this class that's a prerequisite or required for my profession, and I have to make sure it's the 3rd version or the 4th version or the 5th version. This is putting money back into the professor's pockets and into the schools. And again, this is all part of affiliate marketing. It's the way that the system is designed that we haven't been taught how to see it for what it is.
Wanted to teach our scholars, our teachers, and our masters, because there's Professor Small, Obadiah Shaka, Linda Jeffries, Kaba, they all should be multimillionaires.
Yes, the Dr. Clark,
not millionaires, multimillionaires.
Dr. Ben,
yes, John Clark, all of them. They should, especially Dr. Ben. He should not have died the way he did. Never should have happened.
Got it.
But we are all dealing with our trauma in some shape, form, or fashion. And even some of the scholars that I'm working with, you know, they have trauma. They got PTSS. They got genetic trauma. Even though they teach this and understand it, it's still applied to them. And so Kaba tells me all the time. I was just with him last night. We worked twice Tuesdays and Thursday nights. He said, I've never made this kind of money before. I never even knew it was possible. Right. And I, for the first time in my life, I don't have to go into my retirement money to pay all of my bills. I've got enough money now. I helped him create an additional 5-figure income where he can sustain and start to build and grow. So the next level is taken to 6 figures, to 6 figures, to 7, and so on and so forth. This is something that we all must do. But in terms of our scholars, those are the people who have sacrificed the most for us.
Correct.
They are our living, breathing ancestors.
Yes.
We need to up them, big up them. We need to give them the same amount of money, the same amount of support that we would give a Kevin Hart, a Beyonce, whatever the thing is. We need to do that for our own people, for our own teachers. I don't want to have to do fundraising so somebody can go to Africa. I want you to be able to just go and buy the damn thing.
Got it. Correct. Yes. Got it. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. Now, how can we get in contact with you to get started on the path of wealth building when it comes to affiliate marketing and walkaway wealth system?
So walkawaywealthsystems.com, which is on there, the .com, you'll get a download of the chapter, the forward actually, that Professor Kaba Hiawatha Kamene wrote, and then you'll be in our email process, and you'll get information that will take you to digitalbootcamp.com and digitalnomicsbootcamp.com. Don't go there because I don't know who those people are, but go to digitalnomicsbootcamp.com. And there's a questionnaire that you can fill out. And by answering those questions, I can look and see who you are, where you're at. And if it makes sense, I will hit you up and start to have a conversation with you, because what I know about you and I know about the family, 1, ain't nothing wrong with you.
Got it. Mm-hmm.
2, something happened to you. 3, it's still happening to you. 4, you have a ghosting trauma that has sabotaged you and you are running out of time. And so you need to learn how to do something that will buy back your time, but you have to first have the spiritual understanding of how to collapse that time. So then you can truly live in time freedom.
Got it. One of the things that I teach the youth is doubling their money.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I tell them this, I want you to take $10 and learn how to double that.
Mm-hmm.
When you do that, you're going to learn some things. And then take the 20 and learn how to double that. Mm-hmm. Each doubling gives you a different set of values and skills and understanding money. I will never ask a 17, 18-year-old to double $2,000. They can't conceive it. They just can't. Right. There's a situation that I was brought to the table where someone had invested a certain amount of money that was sizable for a real estate investment. Mm-hmm. I was brought to the table at the end of it. They couldn't find the person that they gave the money to invest. So they asked me, what can they do? And I said, your first mistake was you did not have me at the table at the initial onset, because I know what to ask and I know what to get to make sure that this investment is protected. Mm-hmm. They lost their money. There was nothing we can do. They're still looking for the brother. Mm-hmm. Sad to say, it was a brother who did it to them. Mm-hmm. But again, what we're looking at is people are investing in opportunities and they don't understand the opportunities. Right. And this is why something of your program, the initial part is understanding that the building of the financial muscle, the mental muscle, knowing what to ask, knowing how to ask, saying that, okay, and like we talked about this earlier, people don't want to seem stupid.
That's right.
That's what we talked about that earlier.
And toxic shame.
Right. We talked about that earlier. Yeah. Uh-huh.
I already feel stupid. I don't want to look stupid and confirm it. Right. So I'm just going to lay back in the cut and maybe sabotage you to say I knew it wasn't going to work. And
powerful. Yes.
That's it.
Power. The crab in a barrel theory. Awesome,
Yes.
awesome.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
knew that
awesome.
would work when I got in it. And then you go to get philosophical. I told you that wasn't going to work. I told you they was a scam. I told you, I told you, I told you. And I'm like, family, we've got to get out of our own way. But I also have to say this, fam. We know that we need to get out of the way of the second frequency Amu, the European. But some of us need to get out of our family's way, our friends' way.
Correct. Correct.
Because they are in a third and fourth frequency, a false racial construct identity, and they batshit crazy, and they don't want you to have anything. They suffer from white rage just like white people suffer from white rage.
Right.
So when you start going up and growing up, they're going to come in and try to sabotage you and hold you down and hold you back by telling you you ain't nothing. And some of them will try to kill you. If you don't believe me, ask Nipsey Hussle.
Right. I appreciate your work, brother, because one of my idols is Booker T. And when he was down doing the work, when Tuskegee was making bricks and those communities were coming, purchasing bricks, he was building the schools. He was building. My issue with some of those people at the time when they were going through the school, part of the object and part of the project was they were supposed to take their skills and go back home to their own communities and teach their communities. They forgot that. Right. And this is why I appreciate brothers and sisters like you knowing that we didn't make it on our own.
Right.
So now we're coming back and we're showing you, listen, this is what you have to do. Now, what are you going to do? Absolutely. Are you going to do it or not?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Because here's the thing, brother. I know I am not special. I know I am highly qualified, and I know that we're all actually special, and I know that we're all equal. Why? The same creator that created you created me. Right. Now, if anybody who is listening or watching anything that you and I have said, and it makes sense to them, that means it's already in you. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to understand it from us. So there's nothing special. We're just talking about something that you already know. You intuitively know that this is truth. Truth recognizes itself. You might not be able to put it into words or articulate it, but you know that you know that you know. And so we are incredibly gifted people if we just got out of our own way and dealt with our trauma.
Right.
And it would be an end game. It would be an end game.
What financial advice would you give to everyone listening right now? Something that they can take tonight and start on.
Go to gumroad.com and get a free account.
Go to
and learn. I'm sorry.
Go to who?
Gumroad. So I use a platform called Gumroad to do all of my economic e-commerce and everything. I talked to I'm friends with the president who wrote the code. He was the guy who wrote the code for Pinterest. He wanted to become a billionaire. It didn't work out for him. So he developed Gumroad, became a multimillionaire. But as a result, he developed a platform that I believe all people should use. And it's the easiest platform to use to learn how to have your own affiliate marketing platform. So if you want to sell your own products and not just digital products, you want to sell merch, you can sell merch, and you can set up an affiliate product where somebody can recommend your merch, and that person clicks on the link, they buy the merch, and then you ship it out. If you want to do the physical route, I do the digital route because I don't want to have to go to the post office and be around white people. So that's how this works. So you go to gumroad.com and get you a free account. Or if you want to do affiliate marketing with Amazon, it's free. When you go to Amazon, scroll down to the bottom where that blue patch is, and it will say become an affiliate. And it's free. Sign up, become an affiliate, and read all of the information of what it does and what it takes. That's the other thing. You've got to absorb that new information. In order to acquire something you've never had, you must become someone you've never been.
Got it. One of the things when we talk about Wi-Fi and the computer is I actually teach Forex.
Okay. Excellent.
And I tell students that you can make $300-400 waking up 2 o'clock in the morning. And if you understand how to read the charts, and how to make the actual inputs and outputs, you can make some serious cash and go back to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
This is another way of building wealth and understanding that it's possible. What I find that there are a lot of doors that were closed to us that are starting to come open to us. But again, according to what you're saying, it's the trauma of the non-belief and not being worthy of
continuous failure. The more you fail, the more you learn how to be helpless. That's where the term learned helplessness comes in.
Got it. Powerful, powerful.
You understand?
Powerful.
So we are learning how to be helpless, and so therefore we do nothing and we become sheep. And this is why we don't take action on our own lives.
So in other words, here you go. I'm giving it to you. You don't have to work for it.
That's right.
So now you become complacent.
That's right.
Every single month, I'm going to give it to you. You don't have to work for it.
Right.
But what I look at is I always ask the question, what happens if that source of income is not there? What do you do?
Right.
So I'm always teaching that you're always getting prepped and you're building wealth.
Right.
This is what it's all about.
Stedman Graham, I meant to tell you, he's in my first book. He was also in my first book, but Stedman Graham took me, I had a .com back in 98, and he would bring me, I had a e-zine, and because I was interviewing all these people, so I had an electronic magazine, an e-zine, or blog, what's called a blog today. And he would invite me up to NBC Towers, where his office was. And it's the same concept I told Kaba. And he said, never leave any money on the table, Philippe.
Correct.
And so for the family, you need to do Digitalnomics, you need to do affiliate marketing, you need to do Forex, you need to do real estate, you need to do everything that is available to you and possible for you to do. And that's the end of the story. You need multiple streams and sources, not one. And if you have a JOB, use your job source income to pay for the education to create your multiple sourced income.
What I look at is there are a lot of people that are in corporate America who have skills that can be transferred over to themselves, for themselves, to create a second flow of income.
Facts. Hell, drug dealers, for that matter.
Yes.
I mean, I'm just saying, my street pharmaceutical people, you got this. If you are alive, you have learned how to survive. You have something in you that no other human being has that level of resilience.
Right. Correct.
You just have it. You just think that it's not valuable. It is. Correct. It's currency.
Got it. Yes.
It is currency.
The intellectual property piece, there was a situation that happened here in New York where a young lady went to a college and she designed a bag and she won the contest and she got the prize, whatever it was. About 7 months later, she was in the store and she saw her bag. Yeah. She tried to sue, but she could not sue because the bag was designed at the school. And of course, she signed over all her rights, not understanding the intellectual property piece. So again, these are things that we have to understand. What's yours is yours, what you create. I used to work in corporate America, and they would ask me why I was so successful and what I shared. I'm like, no, I'm not.
Right.
Why? Because this is mine. This is what I do. So you want me to help other managers become successful based on what I've designed and what I've developed. It's not going to happen. Intellectual property. It's knowing your value, knowing who you are, knowing what it is, what's important.
Absolutely.
Yes, very, very true. What do you think? What do you think is the number one downfall of the success of African people in America when it comes to money? And I know you talked about the metaphysical part.
Say it again now, my brother.
What is the number one thing that you think is the downfall of African people when it comes to wealth in the United States or worldwide?
Well, it's that they are becoming wealthy based upon and living in a false racial construct, and so it's killing them.
Wow, powerful.
There's a price to pay for becoming a millionaire or multimillionaire in America, particularly Africa as well, but particularly here. This is peer-reviewed research. This is not my opinion. This is something that when I did a piece on Gail and Oprah, I got some pushback from some people in the community, because I'm coming from a scientific understanding that when you are that go along, get along Negro, now you are forced to be around them 24/7.
Right, right.
Now,
right.
So in my work, I look at what's called verticals and horizontals, right? So I looked at the vertical. A vertical is what's known as a niche.
Right.
I looked at the vertical of African American and African. Okay, that's a vertical. But then I looked at how wide does that vertical go? Well, there's billions of Africans and African Americans. So there's a lot of money to be made just in our own community.
Yes.
Then
yes.
I said, well, I know that I need to narrow the vertical, because if I do a shotgun approach and try to get everybody, that's not going to work. So now I'm going to narrow the vertical, and I'm just going to concentrate on metaphysical, comedic, Pan-African, African and African American people. So now I have a micro niche. Now go down, and how wide does that go? How many millions of people think the way I think, feel the way that I feel? Well, there's millions. So therefore, there's enough money for me to be able to sustain or create a lifestyle. So now I am able to create a level of lifestyle where I don't have to be around the second frequency people. I can just be exclusively around my people and still be healed. Now, I still got to deal with my crazy ass people, but it's my people. You know what I'm saying? It's my family. As opposed to I can do something where I have to now be inclusive and make white people feel good and safe. I don't want to make white people feel good and safe, Chuck. I don't want to do that. I don't want to have a non-denominational ministry where I have a bunch of white people in there practicing whiteness, practicing racism, harming me and harming my people, but I have to go along and get along and make them feel good. I don't want to do that. I just want to deal with my people and my people only. And there's enough of us for me and for us to be able to do that. So that's the downfall of Black folks when they get successful. They are locked into something that they cannot get out of without damaging the money that they have made.
Powerful. You're talking about professional athletes, correct?
You think? Come on now. Get mad right there, Chuck. Come on, man. Yeah. Okay. I mean, it's anybody who is, I hate to say this, but the term own.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right. Got it.
It's just there. Just look at it. It's just there.
And you're absolutely right, because when I was part of corporate America, managing departments, we would have these meetings. And when they were talking about cutting numbers and putting numbers on the board, and I'm looking at these numbers and I'm going like, well, each number that you want me to cut is a body, is a person that I have to go back and I have to figure out, how do I cut my staff from 25 down to 22? Wait a minute, that's three parties that you know nothing about, but according to them, it's just numbers. And I got out because it was sucking my soul.
Right. That's absolutely.
Corporate America was sucking my soul. They wanted me to do things that was unethical to my spirit. And I was drinking more.
Yep.
I was depressed more. So I understand when it comes to the trauma. I didn't understand it now. I got it. I wasn't supposed to be in that situation at all.
Yeah. That's the price you pay, though. That's the racial battle fatigue.
Got it. Understandable. Yeah. Okay. We got a question. Okay. Okay. What are the best tips to building a massive social following presence?
So it's multiplicable. So if you're on Twitter, if you're on Facebook, the way the game works, you go to somebody who has, a million Twitter followers, an influencer, and you start following the people that are following them.
Got it.
Because you want to be, depending upon you want to find somebody that has a similar niche or market that you're into, that's complementing to you. And so if somebody is an influencer that sells purses or whatever, then you want to go to that top influencer and you want to befriend, if you're on Facebook, you want to befriend as many of their friends as possible to begin building up a large social following. I do believe in PPC, pay-per-click, but at a certain point, I don't do PPC as of yet because I've been able to build what I built organically because I know exactly what the family needs and how to source and serve them. So my game is I go to the top, most brilliant minds in the world. I interview them. Their intellectual property is then shared to the family. We have a product that we create that moves the family forward. The scholar or the guest of the show gets 50%, I get 50%, and the audience gets the great piece of information and the great scholar. So that's how I have monetized all of my relationships in building that platform.
Wow, powerful, powerful. What I'm looking at is an opportunity here, especially in this COVID situation, where you can actually create an income and a wealth base now if you truly understand how to come out of this.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're looking at is opportunities and ways of understanding that. I did a workshop yesterday and I explained to people that if you have a skill in tutoring or teaching, this is what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have that skill, there are companies out there that will pay you a minimum of $22
mm-hmm.
to share your skill.
Mm-hmm.
I have a very good friend of mine who speaks Mandarin.
You could do what's called micro outsourcing. You can go to Upwork.com and become someone that companies like myself, I have a VA, a virtual assistant out in the Philippines that does all of my posting and all of my stuff because I don't have time to run all of that. So I can go and find writers. I can find people who do design. I could do all. So if you have these skill sets and core competencies, not to necessarily buy yourself another job, but something that you can do in the interim, you can go to like Upwork.com, fill out the application, become an outsourcer, and people will hire you and pay you, $20, $30, $40, $50 an hour from any part of the world for your particular service, for your particular understanding of what you do.
What I look at is what value do you bring to the table for yourself?
Right.
And that's key, for yourself. Right. I feel that you have to become selfish and understanding that you're moving forward for yourself, your family, so that generationally, every generation is supposed to be better than the one prior. Mm-hmm. So the question is, when it's said and done, what did you bring to us as a family for us to move forward? It's powerful when you look at situations and you look at the generations before and the work that they've done, the sacrifices that they've done. Again, we talked about Dr. Ben and Dr. Clark, the sacrifices that they've done so that we can be where we are now. So just imagine how, if we pass the baton, because that's what we have to do, pass the baton to make sure that, okay, you go, you're ready. And it's the preparation part, very preparation part. Yes.
Absolutely.
I mean, I love it. I love it. So now a lot of college students are coming out. Mm-hmm. What advice do you have for them?
Well, that's exciting because that's the future, right? They're not running out of time like my black ass. Okay. So, so that's a different conversation. So for the college students, now I'm going to tell you to invest. I'm going to tell you to make money and put some of that away so it accrues and so you can take full advantage of it by the time you are my age. Correct. Deal with your trauma. You're going to go through some trauma, but you are at an age where there's a little bit less trauma and less memory of that trauma. And so you can take full advantage. But learn affiliate marketing because it is the future of the way wealth is going to be made in this country and in the world.
Got it.
COVID-19 taught us that there's a thing called the internet. And that there is this thing where Oh, I can't transfer my skills. You know, everybody, oh, I could, brick and mortar businesses. Oh, I can't do my business online. You freaking learned how, didn't you?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, I'm not good at computers. I don't know how to do video conferencing. You learned, didn't you?
Yes,
So
correct.
this is not going away and not changing, because there are businesses who aren't coming back, not necessarily because they lost so much money, but for the fact they realize they can do it virtually.
Correct. Correct.
So learn
My nephew.
the
Go ahead.
skill. Yeah. So
My,
learn the skill
my
and
nephew.
figure out how to master this environment.
My nephew
Make
was
that
telling me.
laptop money.
My nephew was telling me a story. He designs T-shirts. He has his own line, and
Mhm.
he does the swap meets down in Atlanta. And because of COVID, he's getting more sales online
Yeah.
than ever before. And if it were not for COVID, he would not have to adapt to that situation.
Right. That's exactly
We have
right.
to think. We have to think outside the box.
We
We
really-
have a question from Andre. Andre asks, "Has you ever had someone that couldn't make money?"
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. That's just absolutely. Everybody is, you know, as they say, everybody wants to get to heaven, but nobody wants to die. So there are people who have so much trauma that I can't save them. I can't help them.
Right.
And
Right.
that hurt. That's the part of my French. That's the shit that hurts.
Right.
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 There are family members I have that I cannot help them. Their trauma imprint is so strong. They're self-sabotaging. The way they're so toxic. They can't move forward. And so
Right.
yeah,
They're gone.
that,
They're
that
gone.
you know, I'm not going to lie and say, oh yeah, well everybody I have worked with is no,
Right.
no, no. And that's why I decided to go back and look at this thing, because, and I'm, you know, looking at myself and using myself as an experiment. There are millions of us that know some of this stuff, but why ain't it working for us like it works for the other folk?
Right.
And so I had to take a deep dive into understanding the psychology of this, the emotion of this, understanding that there's something that is very unique to African and African Americans that don't apply to the second frequency Amu. They don't
Right.
have the trauma imprint that we have. They
Right.
just
Right.
have maybe some competition within their ecosystem, but they don't have our trauma.
Right. Right.
Okay.
Right.
And so, man, I have heard this shit, pardon my French, this story so many times. Oh, you know, I was a college student and I just didn't like being a college student. And so I borrowed $2,500 from my family and I launched my own business. We don't have that. Who's
Right.
giving
Correct.
us $2,500 to launch our own damn business? We
Right.
don't have that. So they have, and that's stress for them.
Right.
That's a big deal. Like, oh my God, I have to figure out how to get $2,500 and borrow it from my family. Oh wow, I wish I had your damn problem.
Right.
So
Correct.
so there are certain things that are unique to us that has caused this toxic shame. We don't want to talk about it publicly. Hell, we don't want to talk about it privately. It hurts. It hurts when you learn how to fail. It
Right.
hurts when you learn how to fail and be helpless, bro. That shit
Right.
hurts. And we
Right.
don't want to deal with that. And so that creates all of this toxic buildup. And so when we blow this trauma and blow our trauma through each other, we start tearing each other down. We start becoming cynical. We start canceling each other out. All of that is nothing more than trauma trying to get out of the body. We're trying to heal. We're trying to get to the promised land. We're
Right.
trying to
Right.
get back to first frequency. But, you know, metaphorically and literally, these efforts, these second frequency efforts, got their knee and boots on our neck, but
Right.
it's psychological, not
Right.
just physical.
Right. Every successful person that I've mentored up under, one of the key reasons why they admired me was because I never asked them for the end product. I asked them to teach me the process.
Right.
If your process is correct, I will get that end product, but I'm not able to get it unless I go through the process of transformation.
That is brilliant.
Yes.
What you just said was brilliant.
Yes.
So part of our trauma is we've learned how to beg for what we want and pay for what we need.
Right.
We are waiting for somebody to come save us.
Got it. Yes.
And solve all of our problems as opposed to teach us how to do that.
Got it.
Think and sequence our way out of the situation that we're in. Remember earlier I talked about that part of the brain that breaks down and we're no longer able to be in our logical center and to logically and sequentially think our way out. So, yo, brother man, let me get 20 from you. Yo, brother man, can you help me out on the light bill?
Right. Mm-hmm.
We will beg and ask as opposed to figuring it out. And that's what I love about what you just said.
Right.
I want to learn the process. I'll get the result on my own.
And then they want to make you feel bad when you don't contribute.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Oh, you ain't for your people. You ain't for your people. You ain't real, brother. You ain't down. You ain't keeping it real.
Yeah, you know you got it. Yeah, I do have it. Yeah, I do have it. I do have it. And it's mine.
I do have it. That's right. That's right.
Okay. Remember, everyone, make sure you share, like, make sure you subscribe, Instagram, YouTube. Make sure that you are connected with us. Elena has a question, okay? She asks, how much money should you spend saving, investing, percentage-wise?
I have absolutely no idea because it's relative depending upon your age and how much money you have and how much time you have left.
Risk factor, yes. Yes.
So you would be the one to answer that question more so than myself.
So let me answer that in my format is, for instance, me, at my age, no children, I don't have the things that have to pay attention to financially. So my risk factor, I can invest and I can take a larger risk than someone who has a family, who has maybe a child or 2 children, who has a wife. And people ask me, well, what will I do? I'm like, I'm telling you, what I do is not what you should do.
Right.
Because if I blow $200, $300, $400, $500, I can come back from that real quick because I don't have the necessities to pay for on a monthly basis.
Right.
Got it. And I guess maybe I'm blessed. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah.
So, but we also, one of the things that we teach in team success, we teach financial literacy. One of the things we teach is you have to pay yourself first. And one of the things that we teach is 20% is yours. You should keep that.
That's right.
No one should get that. You work 40 hours a week, 80 hours a week. 20% is yours. That's yours. It shouldn't go in the bank at all. I don't believe in trusting banks. I know that banks are used for processing, but when it comes to saving money, no, your money should be somewhere where you can touch, because there's going to be an opportunity where you're going to need that quick fast, right? So now imagine if the bank shut down right now today and pre-COVID, people are going to be pissed off. And quite as it's kept, there were a lot of wealthy people who were taking money out of the bank because they knew that having it with them on their body, on their personage, was better than going to the bank and the bank telling them, no, we're not going to give it to you.
That's absolutely
and that's key. So remember, 20%. And I would say start with small investments, Robinhood account, real small, open up by, take 20, 40 bucks, open something up, but build. See, here's the thing. What you have to do is you have to learn the craft and the trade. Don't invest $200, $2,000 in something that you don't believe in and you don't know anything about. I would rather you lose 20 bucks saying to yourself, okay, I learned that mistake. That's a $20 mistake. Now I can come back. I can still come back and recoup and make that money back, which is very key. Yes. Next week, we are going to have on HAPI Talks, Assemblyman Charles Barron. So make sure you check in. Make sure you sign up, because that's going to be a powerful piece right there. Okay, one question, Michelle, because we're about to close up. Michelle asks, can the program be used for just the trauma portion alone? That's deep. Or do you have to use both? That's deep. That's a good question. I like that one, Michelle. Yeah.
Damn, Michelle, you got a brother messed up over here. You know, oh my gosh. That, you know, I never even thought about that.
There you go. Powerful question.
Yeah. You know what? hit me up and I'll make it happen. Yeah.
Deep
Because
question.
I just, said, okay, I need to do both because but yeah, maybe we should just work on the trauma part, and maybe the digitalnomics part will come later. So thank you for that. You just created a whole nother thing.
See, there you
All
go.
right.
See that? That's what happens when you tune in on a
Oh,
Friday
man.
night.
When two or more gather together.
Okay. Okay. I have a question from Teoma. How long does it take to make money using affiliate marketing?
Good question. So it depends on how quickly you can find a good affiliate marketing product, but the real deal is how quick can you build your database? How big can you build your mailing, your following, your social following? Because it's about numbers, it's about people. It's not about the 200 or 300 people that's currently on your Facebook. It's about attracting all new people.
Right.
And where you have a deeper pool of thousands of people. So if the first thing is traffic generation is building up that following, building up those
Right.
people who are following and liking. So like I said, you get a page, you have a page about wallets. You go and search and find the top people who are selling wallets, promoting wallets, and you go to their social media and you like and follow and befriend the people that are liking and following them. You have information on your page that should be different, but in the same niche as their wallet. Right. And now you start to build up a database. Then you launch your affiliate product, put it out there, source and serve it to that community, and boom. So it depends on how quickly you can develop an audience.
Right. I would rather have 10% of 1,000 as opposed to 10% of 100.
Exactly.
You're expanding your umbrella. You're expanding.
Small. We think small. We say, okay, I'm just going to work with the people that I'm friends with on Facebook. No, strangers make you rich, not the people you know.
Powerful. Strangers make you rich, not the people you know.
Right.
Powerful piece. Okay. We're going to close out in about the next 5 minutes. I want to give the powerful presenter, Brother Philippe Matthews, the last word. I want you to close out for us. So please remember, subscribe, share, like, make sure you stay connected so that all these powerful pieces that are coming up. And we, with the HAPI family, we are setting up and we're lining up some powerful presenters for you so that you can get on a weekly basis some powerful content post-COVID, even after COVID, so that we can say to ourselves, okay, great, we got the tools. Now, let's go ahead. Let's get it started. Next Thursday, HAPI Talks with New York Assembly, Charles Barron. Said that, okay, fine, but I'm going to let you go. And Brother Philip, let me explain something to you. My brother from another mother. We're going to talk offline because you said some powerful pieces, and we're going to talk and we're going to share. So it's going to be East Coast, West Coast. So we're going to be slinging it and having a whole conversation. Cool? All right. And I want to say to Tacky family, Tacky, Felicia, Elena, Dion, Tammy, Rock, Daryl, Tahuti Films, Kim Simon. Shout outs to the whole Tappy family. Everybody that's been involved with us, we thank you for coming out. We thank you for listening. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead, close us out. Tell us what you want us to know.
There is an affirmation that I developed of power that I say every day and throughout the day that grounds me in my first frequency and helps me begin to exorcise and excavate my trauma out of me. Goes like this. I am one with first frequency. I am one with the first thought idea. I am one with the firstborn people. I am one with the only one. Ashe, and so it is.
I say Zola, Zola, Zola. Peace. Hotep, brother. Thank you very much.
Hotep
Peace.
family.
Thank you. Thank you.